Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be giving you my 5 favourite book series that I read during 2023. I did quite a lot of rereads this past year. I will not be including them, I'm only including new reads, so new series that I hadn't read before. I have 4 of the books here from the first book in the series. In each series, but one of them I don't actually own. I bought them on my Kindle. I do own it. I bought them on my Kindle, but my Kindle is somewhere in the house. I don't know where. So we've got 4 books. So the first book series I'm going to talk about is The Last Kingdom book series by Bernard Cornwell. I started this series last year in 2022. I started them in December, but I only read the first 2 books. So I'm not counting it. I'm counting it that I've read it this year because I read 11 books of the series this year. I read the books, I watched the show, I watched the movie, and I visited Bamborough with my dad, which was insane. I can't quite believe that we did all of that, I did all of that this year. But yeah, this series was so much fun. And unlike anything I'd read before, I wasn't typically like a historical fiction kind of person. I didn't read it much. I tend to stick with sci-fi and fantasy and that when it comes to that kind of stuff. The only other historical fiction books I can think of was it's the Pendragon cycle, which has Taliesin, Merlin, Arthur, Pendragon and Grail. I read up to Arthur. I think I got halfway through that series. It wasn't for me really. I didn't quite enjoy it. Taliesin, the first one, was really good. Merlin was a bit gruesome, and Arthur I just couldn't stick with it. I do need to go back and reread them though, because I was quite young when I read them. It was before COVID, so I would have been about 13, 14 years old. So I bet if I went back and reread them now, I'd enjoy them more. But I also read another Cornwell series, which was the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell, like I said, which is more focused around Arthur's time, King Arthur's time, but not told. The series isn't about him. He's featured in it, but he is very much a side character. The main character is Derval. That series was my entrance into Bernard Cornwell's writing. This was kind of very much the step up. I'm glad I didn't jump right in with The Last Kingdom and I started with the Warlord Chronicles, because this series is so big. It's 13 books. All of the books are decently sized. They're pretty decent compared to some of the other fantasy books that I read. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, and being able to fall in love with Uhtred and Sihtric and Finan and Ethelfled and all of these different people. It was lots of fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I definitely found myself getting lost in the series quite a lot, which was good. If a series can draw me into a point where I forget that I'm living in 2023 and whatnot, then I consider it a very good book. I think I rated all of the books 5 stars. I read them one after another, just 6 at a time, I think, something like that. I think I read the first good few and then realised that I'd had enough of Uhtred for a bit and had to have a break, because I wasn't enjoying the books as much. But then when I came back, I fell in love with it all over again. The next book I'm going to show you is a bit more modern day than The Last Kingdom, and that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I have here the UK Collector's Edition from Waterstones that I absolutely love. It's got this beautiful spine print on the spine, and inside It's absolutely amazing. It's got a letter to the readers from Holly, which is epic. I do own the series. They're down on these shelves right at the bottom. I own 2 copies of each of the books. 1 copy is annotated and 1 copy is not. But I think this one is just much more beautiful. Anyway, I bought the first book and then didn't read it for ages. And I can't remember why. But when I finally I sat down and I read it and I absolutely loved it. Fell in love with it. Loved Pip, loved Ravi, loved Kara, loved all of them. And I had so much fun trying to figure out the mystery. And like writing down, there's so many notes in the margins of me like jotting down my thoughts and whether or not I agreed with what Pip was thinking. And I didn't see the ending coming, the overall ending coming, which was great. Even though I was trying to figure out the mystery, I'm very glad that I didn't see it coming because I think it just added to the excitement a bit more and the intensity. But yeah, I read that and I didn't own the other 2. So I ended up reading a different book, and because it was like I finished it on a Saturday and I couldn't have gone to the shop on the Sunday because we had church or something going on, a family gathering or something. But then on the Monday I popped down to Asda and I got the 2nd and the 3rd and binged them. The second one took me a bit longer to get through. It was a bit more like, didn't quite enjoy it as much. I was a bit let down. But then the 3rd one had me on the edge of my seat. I was full on like feeling nauseous while reading it. I was a bit like, oh my days, what's going to happen? The 3rd one was great. I think the first one was probably my favourite, then the 3rd, then the 2nd one. The next book I have is another one kind of like Good Girls Guide to Murder. It is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read these, did I read these before? I think I read them before. Yeah, so I read these before I read Good Girls Guide to Murder. These were kind of like my entrance into mystery books. I wasn't a big mystery reader, and certainly not murder mysteries. I read the first 2 because my cousin owned them, and she didn't own the 3rd one. So I read the first 2 and I absolutely loved them. And then my family and I actually went away on holiday, and when we were driving down, we stopped in a little town and they had a Works. And it was like the first time I'd ever gone in a Works looking for books. And they had the set hold on. No, I bought the book. Let me restart that. I borrowed the first 2 off my cousin. I then ordered the 3rd book off of Amazon. It came. And then we went away on holiday and I found a set of the books for like 15 quid at the Works. So I bought them, kept the first 2 for myself and gave the 3rd book to my cousin because it was like the ones that we didn't have. I didn't have the first 2 and she didn't have the 3rd one. But I read all of the books and I really liked them all. I think the first one was definitely my favourite. And I'm gonna just come out and say it. I didn't care who Avery ended up with. By the time I got like halfway through the 2nd book, I was a bit like, this is ridiculously boring, and became very invested in Libby and Nash's relationship. I was much more interested in how they were doing romantically and all of that. And I did read Brothers Hawthorne when it comes out. I bought a copy from Waterstones. I bought a signed Sprayed Edges special edition from Waterstones. And I am going to buy the next book when it comes out next year. I'm very excited about reading that. I do hope there is a bit more Nash and Libby in that, because I was a little disappointed on how little there was in the Brothers Hawthorne. I was a bit disappointed. The next book is one that I don't actually have, or that is on my Kindle, which is Who Knows Where, and that is The Prison Healer by... hold on... oh no! Lynette Noni, I think her name is. I think that's how you say it. I read this book in one sitting. I read it on the flight to Crete, was like a 4-hour flight or something, and I read the book. I couldn't put this book down. I bought a load of Kindle books and 2 paperback books for this family trip to Crete. We went for 7 days. It was a great series. I gave the first book and the last book 5 stars and the second book 4 stars. There was just a bit in there where it felt a little bit like it was just kind of dragging on a bit, and yeah, just a bit boring at points, but overall great. It was my cousin had recommended the series to me. She read them, and I think last year, and just raved and raved and raved about them. She absolutely loved them, and I didn't tell her I was reading them. I didn't tell her I read them until we were on the flight, and I was texting. Obviously I can't use my phone, I was on airplane mode, but I was texting her knowing that when I got off the plane, we didn't have any data while we were there, so they wouldn't send till we got to the villa and got on the Wi-Fi. But as soon, I was like, I'm going to text her, because then once we get to the villa, they'll all send, and she'll just get this spam of messages from me, all about a book that she loves that she didn't know I was reading. And then the last series on this list is one that I read very, very recently, and that is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. I'm having to hold them to the side a little bit just because the sun is out, so I don't know how well you can see that. But yeah, I got these books. These are the brand new covers for the series. I annotated all of the books. There is the deal, the mistake, the score, the goal, and the legacy. And then new series, The Graham Effect. I also have that, but I'm not including that because it's not the full series. I've only read the first book. But anyway, I loved these books. I binged them in a week. I read like 1 book a day or something like that. It was so much fun. They were just so fun. They were so much fun. And yeah, I had lots of fun annotating them. The one that got annotated the most was the score, which is the third book, the middle book. That was my favourite, I think. I absolutely loved that book. But yeah, I really enjoyed this series. And just like them being that they're a series, but you could read them as standalones because they're all about different characters, but they all like intertwine. So a lot of the characters are like friends with different characters in the books, and yeah, that was just so much fun. And if I will leave a link down below, there is a bonus scene from this book that is only included, I think it was on Elle Kennedy's website, but she took it down. But it's only included in these editions. And I have it on my TikTok. If you want to go and have a read of that, then it is on my TikTok for you guys to go and check out. I'll leave a link down below to that video if you want to go and read the bonus scene. Please only read it if you have read this book, at least this book, because it does contain, just hit myself in the chin, it does contain spoilers for the deal. But yeah, I love this series. It's great. I haven't read any other Elle Kennedy books. I own a couple, but I haven't read them yet because there's so much to read at the moment. So that is it for this video. Those were my top 5 book series of 2020. 2023, yeah, I'm so tired. I'm so out of it. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know some of your favourite book series that you've read this year in the comments. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you enjoy more bookish content, writing content, all that kind of stuff, then please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!